Hey guys, Boone down south here. So today, I'm going to tell you something I learned after 29 years of marriage. 29 years today, in fact. So, also understand, for the first 10 years of our marriage, we lived on the water. So, I'm always respooling lines every year and all that kind of stuff. And usually, I get my wife to put the screwdriver through the spool or a pencil through the spool and have to hold it while I'm sitting here reeling and cranking. And I recently learned my wife doesn't like that task. And she's never told me. She's always been a willing participant in doing it, but I just found out she does not like that and can't stand doing that. So, anyway, she says to me, don't they make a line spool or something? And I'm like, yes, they do. So anyway, for my birthday, she went out and got me the Piscifun SpeedX line spooler. So we're going to open this up, test it out, let you know how well it works, because I've got another line I got to spool today. So stick around, hit that like and subscribe. Alright, so this is adaptable to different reels. It can be used for bait casters and spinning reels. You can set the handle to the length you want. It's a telescopic handle, so let's see what's in the box here. Looks like we've got some instructions. Looks like that's our handle, our cranking handle there, it looks like. We've got our fishing rod handle to put our reel on, if you will. And we got a lot of parts there, it looks like, put together here. We got the spooler here. And that piece, whatever that piece is. And that looks like all the parts. So, it looks like I'm going to have to read some instructions and figure out how to use this thing. So, I'm going to do that, check it out, and then we're going to put some line on the spool. Okay, so first thing you do is you take this little gizmo right here, and we're going to slide it in that slot right there. Now the directions say to turn this clockwise, and their little drawing really don't look like clockwise, it's how you hold it, I guess. So, but anyway, but you kind of want to reverse from what you think you'd normally do for that thread. That's how it's threaded. That's first step. Second step is to take this piece and put it right on there, and you're going to thread that on as well. And apparently, that's what's going to clamp your spool in place, depending on how tight you clamp this down. Because your spool is going to go in between these two pieces right here, okay? We got our clamp here so we can extend this out. Put our rod on. For a bait casting reel, you're going to want this up top. For a spinning reel, you want it down low. So we're going to get this set up and go. All right, so I got this spooling now. This actually seems to be working. And you can put this in a fixed position with this little thing right here, but they recommend to let the line spool as you spin it, and it gets a better lay down on the spool there. So this is working, y'all. Woo! I got a happy family now. They don't have to hold my spools anymore when I do this. So this is my first attempt at this, and I'm putting some 15-pound braid on this reel right here, and I don't need any help. Seems to be laying it down fairly well. So, anyway, apparently you can also unspool wire with this. So once you have an extra spool, you hang on to it, and so you can. That's what this reel's for, to put in here somewhere to crank this thing, so you can crank line back on a spool if you wanted to. All right, this is the handle I told you about. You can thread it through here, and you can crank it back up and put line back on the spool, which I did because I tried it where it was free spinning when you saw me reel it in. But my line on the spool ended up with a taper like this. So I had a bunch of line down at the bottom, and it was very narrow at the top, which obviously the line's not going to come off there real good. So now I put it in a fixed position by just adjusting this little knob right here. You can unthread it and it'll pop down and lock into position. And basically started threading it on there, and now it's doing that real good up and down the full spool setup now. So I don't know if that's just because it's the first time I did it and I did something wrong. I don't think so, but for me, it's going on the spool much better if I just leave it locked in that position. We'll do some other lines or some other rods, reels, and see, but right now it's going on really good like this, whereas when that thing was spinning around, it just wasn't going on. They recommend to let it free spin. You know, never free spawn anything before when somebody was holding it, so I'm just gonna go like this because it's looking a lot better. Spooling on the reel there, if you can see that. So, but definitely can do it by yourself, and you don't have to like use your feet to kind of hold a screwdriver in place or something like that. So I feel like this is a good solution here. By the way, this particular reel here is the one I spooled up with that new line spooler that I got, and the line seems to be doing well. So, you know, I kind of give that line spooler a thumbs up, man. I'm liking it. I put it on another reel, seems to be running good. So I'm happy with that line spooler. I give it a thumbs up. Okay, guys. So in my exuberance to spool some line using the Piscifun Easy Line Spooler, I put the braid on this reel, and I broke the cardinal rule of putting braid on a reel. You need to back it. So I was out fishing, not thinking about it. Caught one fish, caught two fish on three fish. Here's what happened. I don't know if you see that line spinning. That is not the drag turning. That is a line, because that's what braid does if you don't put a backing on it. So what I'm going to do, normally I would just strip all this line off, throw it in the garbage can. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Piscifun to reel all this line off of my reel onto this spool. Now this is some other braid that I've got on here, so I'm just going to take this braid, spool it onto here to get it off of here, and then I'm going to put a little bit of mono on here, then tie the braid to the mono, and then spool it back on the reel. And so once you have your spool lined up on the Piscifun Easy Spooler, just kind of get the holes lined up there. What you can do is take this handle. There's a piece right here that you unthread from here on the handle, and this is notched right here at the handle. You can see that right there. So you stick it in here, and it goes through, and those notches fit into the grooves in here. Once you've done that, go ahead and thread this on. I really need to, there we go. There you go, the handle's locked in, and that's all locked in. Okay, so now I can crank this handle to take line from my reel and put it on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this line up, I'm going to tape it on this spool, and I'm going to go ahead and crank it on there and get all this line off. All right, now with the line taped on there, I'm just going to thread this on. I'm going to leave little ticks on my finger with my fingers here, and I can just spool this right off the reel and spool it back on when I'm done. So I'm going to crank all this stuff off of here and put my mono backing on and use this easy spooler to spin it back on. All right, there you can see I spooled it back up onto here and got it off there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this and then put the mono filament back on. Okay, did a uni to uni knot on the mono to the braid, and we're gonna spool the braid on using the spooler. You can see it going on there. And I'm just gonna fill it up with this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a uni to uni to a little bit of mono leader on there like I normally do when I'm fishing with braid. But yeah, can do it all without anybody helping me. So I think this is gonna be a very useful product. And I can tell you my family's happy about it. Woo! So thanks for getting used to. Overall, I give it a thumbs up, guys. So hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.